Have you ever stopped to wonder why so many people in different corners of the world wear a simple red string tied to their left wrist? Maybe you've even noticed this detail on a stranger's arm on the subway, on a celebrity online, or even on a loved one in your family. But what's behind this choice? Is it just superstition, a fleeting trend, or an ancient secret waiting to be unraveled? Imagine for a moment that this humble string is a key, a gateway to a hidden universe of mysteries, synchronicities, and invisible connections that intertwine lives, destinies, and eras into a single cosmic fabric. Have you ever felt there's something bigger at play, moving the pieces on the chessboard of your existence? Get ready, because throughout this video, we're going to reveal how a simple red string can transform your worldview, unite science and spirituality, and, who knows, unveil the thread of your own destiny. Before we delve deeper into this fascinating labyrinth, I want to invite you, if these questions have sparked a fire within you, if you've ever felt your life is guided by mysterious coincidences, or believe that certain symbols can carry a power beyond what the eyes can see, go ahead and leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Here we're creating a community of seekers together, people open to the possibilities of the invisible. And comment below, have you ever worn one? Do you know someone who does? Or do you have any curious experiences with the red string? I want to hear from you, because perhaps your story will be the next link in this invisible chain. Now, take a deep breath and allow yourself to dive into this enigma with me. Have you ever seen that small, discreet, and simple red string tied on someone's left wrist? Perhaps you felt curious, strange, or even a sudden urge to ask, why? Is it just superstition, a protective amulet, a passing trend, or is there something much deeper at play? Imagine for a moment that this red string is like a secret code, an ancient symbol capable of carrying centuries or millennia of stories, legends, and mysteries. And what's more, imagine that this tradition, seemingly so folklore-like, echoes from the time of the ancient Egyptians to today's celebrities, from east to west, crossing cultural and religious borders. Curious, isn't it? Why would such different people, in such distant places and times, choose to use exactly this same symbol? What makes the red string a universal link between human beliefs, dreams, fears, and hopes? Now think about the questions our minds can't easily let go of. Did you know there's a psychological phenomenon called the Zeigarnik effect? It explains that when we're presented with an unresolved question, our brain gets stuck, craving an answer until it finds one. And that's exactly what the red string does. It whispers in a corner of consciousness, promising answers to forgotten enigmas of our own being. So if you've ever felt that your life has been crossed by unlikely coincidences, the kind that make your spine tingle and your mind wonder if there really is such a thing as chance, or you have a feeling that mysterious signs appear right at the right time, stay with us, because maybe, just maybe, this red string is a reminder that we are all connected by something greater, and that understanding this symbol is also understanding yourself. Now imagine a man fascinated by dreams, symbols, and the deepest side of the human psyche. A man who, despite being a scientist, never rejected mystery. We're talking about Carl Gustav Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist and pioneer in the study of the collective unconscious. Jung didn't see life as a random sequence of events, but as a tapestry of mysterious patterns, where everything can be connected by invisible threads. Have you ever felt that some dreams repeat throughout your life? Have you noticed symbols that appear recurrently in your thoughts or daily experiences? Jung dedicated his life to exploring precisely these phenomena, believing that there are images and themes, called archetypes, that deeply inhabit the human unconscious, influencing our decisions, fears, loves, and even our destiny. And it is in this symbolic universe that the red string comes into play. For Jung, amulets and traditions like this were not just foolish superstitions. He saw in them portals to deep layers of the unconscious, windows to mysteries that surpass our rational understanding. I'll tell you a real story from his practice, narrated by Jung in his studies. A patient, tormented by inexplicable feelings of fear and lack of protection, said she repeatedly dreamed of a red string tied to her wrist. Whenever she woke up, she felt a strange sense of comfort, as if she were somehow safe. Jung didn't dismiss the dream. On the contrary, he delved with her into the meaning of that symbol, exploring its roots, her emotions, and what it could represent in her personal journey. Jung believed that by finding and activating powerful symbols, human beings were capable of transforming their own destiny, not by magic, but by accessing deep layers of themselves, aligning intention, attention, and meaning. Have you ever sought a greater meaning for the events in your life? Perhaps, without realizing it, you've already felt the strength of this invisible thread pulling your days in new directions. And what if I told you that, in investigating the mystery of the red string, Jung found himself facing an even more surprising revelation? He began to notice that many of his patients reported dreams, visions, or feelings linked to this symbol, even without ever having consciously heard of it. As if something very ancient pulsed within all of us, echoing the same need for protection, meaning, and connection. It's as if the red string is more than an object. It's actually a password to access a hidden territory within the human mind. And perhaps within you, there's a personal symbol waiting to be discovered, deciphered, and lived. Have you ever wondered why the red string is always tied to the left wrist? Wouldn't it be easier, more practical, to wear it anywhere? Why such precision? Is it chance, or is there ancient wisdom behind this strategic choice? Imagine holding something precious in your hands. Which one do you instinctively use? The left side of the body, in many spiritual traditions, symbolizes receptivity, intuition, and sensitivity. It's the side that receives, that welcomes, that opens itself to the invisible world. Doctors of traditional Chinese medicine have taught for millennia. The left side of the body is yin, the feminine, lunar, subtle energy. In Hinduism, it's the side of the heart, of compassion, of direct connection with the divine. In Kabbalah, a Jewish mystical tradition, the left wrist is considered the entry channel for spiritual influences, the portal through which beneficial forces connect to the human being. Now close your eyes for a second. Place your left hand over your chest, right above your heart. Breathe deeply. Do you feel the difference? Perhaps a slight vibration, a subtle warmth, a greater awareness of your own body. It's as if intuitively we know that the left side holds something sacred, vulnerable, but also tremendously powerful. And science, does it have anything to say? Surprisingly, yes. Neuroscience studies show that the right hemisphere of the brain, which controls the left side of the body, is responsible for creativity, intuitive perception, and sensitivity to symbols and deep emotions. In other words, by wearing the red string on your left wrist, you automatically activate an antenna for the invisible, a fine-tuning with coded signs and messages that often escape superficial observation. Isn't it curious how spiritual traditions, practices of ancient peoples, and modern scientific discoveries converge at the same point? Nothing is by chance. The left wrist, in fact, seems to be a privileged gateway for symbolic forces, for intuition, and for receptivity to life's synchronicities. And you, have you ever noticed your left side manifesting different sensations? Any experience of protection, warning, or creative inspiration coming from that side of your body? For a few days, notice how the universe can communicate with you through subtle details. It may be that, by opening yourself to this portal, you will receive important messages, or even an invitation to change the course of your own story. Close your eyes and quickly think, what does the color red awaken in you? What images, what emotions? Perhaps passion, fire, energy, perhaps alert, danger, intensity. Red is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful colors in the spectrum, used for millennia to mark what is vital, urgent, sacred, and often forbidden. But what makes red so special that it deserves to be chosen among all possible colors as the soul of the sacred thread? Let's break it down, because herein lies a fascinating mystery. First, red is the color of blood, of the pulsing heart, of emotions bubbling in the body. It's no coincidence that in several cultures, red is a symbol of life, protection, and passage. From fertility rites in ancient Mesopotamian peoples to protective ribbons in Greece, passing through the red threads of Kabbalah and good luck bracelets in China. Everything converges to the same symbolism. The thread protects, connects, vitalizes. From a psychological perspective, red directly impacts our nervous system. Studies show that in the presence of this color, our body reacts, heart rate increases, senses sharpen, attention turns to what is urgent. It's as if the body is saying, there is power here. There is something that cannot be ignored. And it doesn't stop there. Carl Jung identified red as a universal archetype of transformation, the fire that burns, destroys, and renews. It's no coincidence that in dreams, red often appears when our soul calls for change, action, courage to face what we avoid. By tying a red string on your wrist, you are not just protecting yourself. You are symbolically aligning with the energy of transformation, vitality, and passion for your own destiny. Now, I want to propose a small experiment. Look around you and find a red object. It could be a pen, a flower, any fabric. Hold this object for a few seconds and observe what you feel. Does your body react? Do any memories, sensations, desires, fears, or impulses come to mind? Notice how a simple visual stimulus can trigger profound reactions. Childhood memories, old passions overcome challenges. And that's what makes red the color of the sacred thread. It doesn't allow us to go through life asleep. It shakes us, calls us to the present, to the now. By wearing the red string, you send a clear signal to the universe and to yourself that you are awake, ready to protect, live, and transform. But why, after all, has the red string become such a universal symbol of protection, desire, and transmutation? What is the secret link that connects blood, fire, and the destiny of so many different cultures? And, more importantly, how can we use this knowledge to activate new possibilities in our own lives? These questions continue to echo, like invisible threads, pulling our curiosity towards the unknown. And in the next chapters, we will dive even deeper into the mystery of impossible coincidences, invisible networks of connection, and the fundamental role that symbols like the red string play in the magical theater of existence. Stay with us, because the thread of mystery is still far from being untangled. Imagine for a moment the scene. You're walking absent-mindedly down a street, thinking about your own problems, when suddenly you make eye contact with a complete stranger. A spark, an inexplicable feeling of familiarity, perhaps even a sense of déjà vu. Days later, you discover that person will work with you, or that they have crucial information for your next step, or that, by coincidence, they share exactly the same old dream you kept secret. Pure luck, or the invisible thread of destiny, weaving the plots of your story beneath the apparent surface of events. Carl Jung, our great explorer of human depths, coined a term for these unlikely yet meaningful encounters: synchronicity. A fascinating concept, and perhaps one of the most mysterious in modern psychology. For Jung, synchronicity refers to meaningful coincidences, events that have no cause and effect relationship, but that are somehow connected by a hidden meaning, by an inner need for transformation. And the red string appears precisely in these moments, as a physical reminder of the existence of these invisible connections. There are countless accounts of people who dream of the red string before making important decisions, or who encounter someone wearing this symbol exactly at a turning point in their life cycle. Stories like these circulate in popular tradition, in literature, but also in psychological clinics. Encounters, accidents avoided by seconds, messages received by chance, that completely change the course of events. Take the case of Anna, for example. She never really believed in amulets, but a friend gave her a red string bracelet just before a significant trip. At the time of boarding, she forgot her passport at the airport coffee shop. To her surprise, it was an elderly woman with white hair, also wearing a red string on her wrist, who found the document and handed it to her with a smile. Coincidence? Perhaps. But for Anna, this was the beginning of a sequence of events in which the red string became the call to better observe the mysterious threads guiding her steps. Have you ever experienced something similar? Have you ever felt that something or someone, seemingly by chance, entered your life to point a new path just when you needed it most? Science can explain part of this by how our brain works, seeking patterns and meanings. But Jung goes further. He proposes that there is a field of psychic interconnectedness, a silent symphony orchestrating our encounters, separations, and reunions. The red string, then, is not just a symbol of protection. It's an invitation to perceive the dance of coincidences, to awaken our eyes to synchronicities that defy cold logic and remind us that we are threads intertwined in the great loom of the universe. When you start paying attention to these little everyday miracles, you might discover that nothing, absolutely nothing, is truly by chance. and that the red string, visible or invisible, is there, ready to pull you into the next chapter of your journey. Now imagine a world map in front of you. On each continent, draw red lines connecting distant points. An elderly Jewish man in Jerusalem, a young Hindu woman in Mumbai, a Chinese grandmother in Beijing, an indigenous healer from the Amazon, all in some way carrying or transmitting the tradition of the red string. How is it possible that such a specific symbol has crossed oceans, centuries, and languages, uniting such different stories and beliefs? This is the strength of universal symbols. They traverse human history like an underground network, woven by invisible hands but felt by everyone. The red string appears in Judaism as a sign of protection against the evil eye, especially for newborns and travelers. In China, it is called the red thread of destiny, connecting destined couples to meet. In Hinduism, priests tie the kautuka on the left wrist during initiation and protection rituals. Indigenous peoples of the Americas weave red threads to ward off harmful spirits and ensure good harvests. But the strength of this symbol is not just in the repetition of practices. It is in the silent communication between cultures, in the immediate recognition that there is something sacred, protecting and unconsciously guiding each of us. It is as if, behind the red string, there is an invisible network connecting minds and hearts far beyond what we can perceive. Jung called this the collective unconscious, a reservoir of symbols, images, and myths shared by all humanity, regardless of culture or language. When you see or wear a red string, you activate this ancestral memory, accessing a common field of meanings. How many times have you found yourself feeling a connection with someone you've never met before, or recognizing a symbol, a song, a smell, as if it were already part of your history? These signs are the subtle threads of this hidden network, which unite our destinies and dream together the dream of the world. Imagine the red lines shining between all of us, people who have never met but share dreams, hopes, fears, and quests. The red string is our invisible signature, the mark of universal belonging to the great human family. Now think, with whom do you feel an inexplicable connection, even if the distance is great? Are there people, places, or experiences that seem to call you beyond words? Write down these signs. Perhaps they are indicating the next silent revolution in your destiny. We have reached one of the deepest and most fascinating points of our journey. Why do certain symbols, like the red string, have the power to transform lives, provoke dreams, and awaken such radical changes in those who contemplate or use them? The answer lies in the theory of archetypes, developed by Jung. According to him, archetypes are universal patterns of energy, mother images, that inhabit our collective unconscious and serve as ancestral apps functioning in our current brain. An archetype is not exactly an image, but a field of force, a pre-programmed script for the human mind to recognize, interpret, and activate certain emotions, intuitions, and actions. The red string, in this context, acts as a symbolic button. When you tie this string on your wrist, you're not just repeating an ancient gesture. You are in a way telling your psyche, I am ready to be guided, protected, connected. And the mind responds by activating feelings of belonging, courage, attention to signs, openness to change. It's not superstition. It's neuroscience applied to spirituality. Let's take a practical example. Maria dreamed, night after night, that she was running across a bridge made of red threads over a dark abyss. At first, she felt fear, but over time she realized that the thread was strong, supported her weight, and safely led her to the other side. Inspired by these dreams, Maria began to wear the red string on her wrist. Over time, she reported curious sensations, greater self-confidence, daily synchronicities, like meeting people or opportunities by chance, and an intense perception that her life was truly being guided by something greater. The symbol awakened in her the archetype of the hero in transit. The red string became the psychic bridge between fear and courage, doubt and faith, challenges and overcoming. How many of us also seek this saving thread, capable of guiding our steps over the abysses of life? The stories of transformation caused by the red string are not isolated. In clinical consultations or anonymous reports on the internet, thousands describe striking experiences linked to the activation of this symbol. Lucid dreams, predestined encounters, overcoming old fears, healing deep emotional wounds. all because a simple string became the key to opening inner doors, accessing ancestral memories, and activating energies that were dormant. Think of the red string as that mystical shortcut your mind has always known, but you just need to click to activate. The archetype does the rest. It connects you to the experience of all who have gone and will go through this same journey. And now, reflect. What symbol in your life awakens protection, courage, or connection? Is there a red string waiting to be activated within you? The call is there. Just listen, observe, and take the first step. We're only halfway through this journey, and the mystery only deepens. Stay with us, because in the next topics you'll discover how the red string can be used as a practical tool for self-discovery, and what its role is in predestined encounters and the secret architecture of the great loves and challenges of your destiny. The next thread might be waiting for you. Have you ever felt, at some point in your life, that inexplicable certainty that you've met someone you seem to know from other lives? An encounter so intense and meaningful that it transcends time and reason? Many spiritual traditions talk about soul contracts, invisible agreements made before birth, so that certain people meet, grow together, and fulfill a greater purpose. The red string emerges as a powerful symbol within this idea. It's not limited to romantic relationships, but extends to deep friendships, healing relationships, and even personal challenges that are, in fact, invitations for the soul's growth. Eastern legend, for example, says that this string connects two people destined to cross paths at the exact moment their journeys need to align. Imagine the vivid red string connecting your wrist to someone else's, gently pulling so you don't get lost or forget each other. Touching stories speak of improbable reunions, like two people who were lost for years and recognized each other precisely because they wore the same symbol. As if the string were an invisible compass, pointing the way back to whoever the soul chose to meet. And why do these encounters have such strength? Because they are opportunities to transform our karma, to learn difficult lessons, or to share love and healing. And the red string acts as the seal of this silent pact, a promise that everyone carries with them, consciously or unconsciously. Have you ever experienced one of these encounters? The ones that seem to defy all logic but fit perfectly into the puzzle of your life? Reflect on this, for recognizing these bonds can be the first step to honoring your true purpose and the mission these connections represent. Now that you know the depth and symbolism of the red string, you must be wondering, how can I incorporate this into my daily life? How can I transform this ancient symbol into a concrete ally on my journey? The practice begins with intention. When tying the red string on your left wrist, make it a conscious ritual. Choose a moment when you are at peace, breathe deeply, close your eyes, and visualize what you wish to attract, whether it's protection, clarity, courage, or connection. The string will cease to be just a piece of thread and will become a portal to your personal transformation. You can complement this practice with simple mindfulness exercises. Observe the small signs around you, the coincidences that begin to emerge, the intuitions that arrive unexpectedly. Write down these experiences in a synchronicity journal so that each day you strengthen your perception of the invisible. And how about an invitation? Try wearing the red string for 7 consecutive days. Observe if anything changes in your emotions, in your relationships, and in the events around you. Many people report a greater openness to new things, a deeper connection with themselves, and a constant feeling of being in the right place at the right time. Remember, the red string is an amplifier of your own energy and intention. Nothing works without your conscious engagement. Therefore, live the ritual with sincerity and surrender, allowing this simple red line to become the guiding thread of your self-transformation. Returning to that question that opened this whole journey, what invisible connections already exist in your life? How many red threads, even if invisible, already intertwine your destiny with others? Perhaps you don't even need to physically tie the thread to realize that you are already connected to a vast network of meanings and encounters. The beauty of this mystery is that it's not exclusive to a few. It's within reach of everyone who wishes to see beyond the obvious, who seeks meaning and purpose in every step. The red string is, after all, an invitation to awaken, to look with new eyes at what seemed casual, to understand that we are part of something much greater than our mind can conceive. Now, I want to invite you to act. Share your experience with us in the comments. Tell us if you have felt the power of this symbol or any synchronicity that marked your life. Let's create a community of learning and connection together, where every story, every thread, strengthens this invisible network. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like to access more stories like this. And of course, subscribe to the channel to continue exploring this and other deep mysteries of life. Like, share, because who knows, by pulling the thread here, you might help someone find their own path. Remember, who will be the next to pull the thread of your destiny? The answer may be closer than you think. Just look carefully, feel with your heart, and let the mystery unfold. This journey through the red string shows us that between dreams, symbols, and science, there is a powerful link that connects, protects, and transforms us. Thank you for walking with me this far. The next step is yours.